eventually people are going to say, what the hell is going on?
No matter how far you go into the dark, when you flip, you go exactly the same place to the light in our galaxy. Everything. Because everything is in balance. Everything is a polarity.
I think it's just going to get weirder and weirder and weirder, and finally it's going to be so weird that people are going to have to talk about how weird it is.
Babe, wake up. It's PsyOp season. They're showing video footage of Atari gameplay and they're trying to tell us that it's UFOs. Wake up. What the hell is going on, everybody? Happy Friday. Welcome to After Dark. My name is Josh, and we have this show once a week. I try to do it once a week, where we just hang out. It's just an interactive show where we get to discuss what's going on, what's on our minds, and how we're feeling about this very weird world that we live in. So thank you all for being here. If you're in Discord, you may have noticed that we are live on Twitch as well for the first, well, not the first time, but it's the first time a Polarity show is ever live on Twitch. And that is because I am going to be partnering with Twitch. Exciting news. They've got in contact with me, Twitch Australia, to basically become a partner with them. So there's going to be a lot more content coming on Twitch soon. But for now, we'll pretty much just be like multi-streaming, and what happens on here will probably happen on Twitch too. And then when this show ends, sometimes we'll go hang out on Twitch, where we can just do whatever, play games, keep chatting, probably do some IRL stuff as well. I think I'm obviously in a pretty cool position to do some cool IRL stuff with you guys as well. So that's what's going to be happening. And I mean, guys, look, I'll just say this now. If you really want to support me, if you opened the stream on Twitch as well, just to get that little view number in there, just to help the Twitch algorithm, you know, give it a little tickle. Obviously put it on mute. You don't want to hear me twice, but that would be a really cool way to support me right now that is completely free. So a little bit of exciting news to kick the show off today. But yes, it is PsyOp season. I saw someone in the chat say, what is SZN? SZN is the cool way that the kids say season these days. So that's what that is. It's PsyOp season. So yeah, thank you everyone for all the love and support with that one. And you can see as well, if you are in Discord, it wasn't meant to ping the gamer role. I apologize for that. But if you are in Discord, you'll see that when we go live on Twitch, you should get a notification for that in the Polarity channel as well. But again, it's only going to be extra content over there. So amazing. I'm looking forward to it, guys. PsyOp season, though, this is what I really want the theme of the show to be about. But with After Dark, we do kind of go back and forth. So it is meant to be more of a show where we interact with each other. But PsyOp season, why am I feeling that way? Well, other than the obvious of the UFO files, I know we're not meant to show clips on After Dark, and I'm kind of breaking my own rules a little bit here, but this is really what triggered the topic of today's show. This tweet here from Eric Burleson, who I just want to say, like, I don't want to knock him because he does seem like an honest guy, and you know, I do want to have an optimistic approach to everything. But I did find this one a little bit tough to swallow. Okay, Eric Burleson tweeted, Trump is the disclosure president. I don't have a problem with that. Like I always say, reserve full judgment until, you know, someone's time is finished. You know, you don't judge a painting before it's finished. I think the same should apply here. It's not looking good so far, but, you know, let's reserve judgment. What's the Twitch handle? Just Polarity Josh. Twitch.tv/Polarity Josh. So here he's got Trump is the disclosure president, JFK files, tick, done. MLK files, tick, done. Epstein files, tick, done. And then he says, and now the first batch of UAP files. Okay, so it's the whole like tick, done next to Epstein files and next to the JFK files, because I don't think anyone feels any sense of conclusion or resolution with either of those. Like, this entire process of all of this has kind of been like a dumpster fire, to be honest. It's like, I mean, JFK, who killed JFK? I don't know. Does anyone actually know? There's lots of theories, but there's no concrete answer to it. So you can put out all these files with the semi-redacted photocopies from 1967 and all of this shit that doesn't really tell us anything other than confuse us more. There's still no answer. Like, no one knows anything more. We're all just more confused. So the whole like tick done, that was, I was kind of like, oh, that's done. That's it. We're finished with that. That one's like, we're on to the next. Because that's quite that's sad. That's kind of sad, really. If that's what transparency means, that's I'm a little bit sad about that, to be honest. And obviously the Epstein files is a little bit more recent. And I mean, I would say the Epstein files did potentially bring more light into the darkness, is maybe a way to put it. But again, there's no like real accountability. There's no conclusion. There's no resolution. It was just like a giant dump of files that, you know, like when we hear about these things, at least, I mean, I can only speak for myself here, but I think some of you guys might agree. When we hear like, oh, they're going to release the Epstein files, my take on that is that in the meantime, while we are waiting for the Epstein files to come, because, you know, when they say they're coming soon. Okay, we expect them next month. Between now and then, I'm assuming that they're combing through them. They're figuring out who did what. They're putting the dots together. They're drawing their conclusions. They're dotting the I's, crossing the T's. They're like figuring it out. So when the Epstein files drop, they're going to be like, look, here's the evidence. It essentially, what we've worked out is this is what happened. This is how it happened. This is our process to kind of remedy it all. And, you know, this is kind of what happened. We're sorry about it. But it's like, it's like no one's done an investigation. They've just kind of like scooped up a bunch of documents and just gone, have at it. Have at it. Good luck. See what you find. And then it's like, that's it. Epstein files released. So like, and in a way, I actually think that's worse. Because like they've released all of these documents that describe some like really disturbing things happening on like multiple levels. Like, I'm not even just talking about what happened, you know, with underage children, or, you know, and then we can get into the whole grape soda, beef jerky, all of that stuff. But not even that, like the people that it implicates, the kind of like deception and blackmail operations that might be going on that implicate people that we look to lead our countries. Okay, like, so there's so many levels of disturbing shit that we can dig up as just amateur internet sleuths. And we do so. And then the politicians are like, yep, Epstein files done. It's like, what? Like, we did the Epstein files. You didn't do anything. You just scooped up all the documents, gave it to us. We went through it. We got PTSD, and basically our reality shattered and flipped upside down from what we found. Now it's back to you. We're hitting the tennis ball back to your side of the court. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. Epstein files are done. Next. Isn't it great? So given that the Epstein files are tick complete and JFK files tick complete, I know that I said we should reserve judgment until they're finished, and I want to be optimistic. I apologize, people. I apologize. We have we're going to have a few technical difficulties while we work out with this multi-stream software. Okay, I was aware that there might be a few hiccups, and I do apologize. It's going to be a learning process. I'm also kind of restricted. You guys know that I'm traveling at the moment, and I only have a MacBook, and MacBooks are not the easiest they're not the best things to like work with. Either like something works. If something works with Mac, it usually works like flawlessly. And if it's not really meant for Mac, you're gonna have a bad time. And I think we might have a bad time. But look, like I always say, guys, we just try to get better every show, and we just try to iterate and improve. So there you go. Another thing as well that I will mention is that with the chat that you can see on screen here, this is just the YouTube chat, and I can see people here in the Twitch chat as well. So thank you guys. It's great to see you. The only reason your chats are not showing on the screen here is because if I show the multi-chat, the YouTube emotes won't show. They'll show as text, and it does look really ugly. So I just thought for a first time stream, we'll just show the YouTube chat, and then depending how it goes, we can integrate later. But so that's what's going on there. So please bear with me. Bear with me. Elle says Josh is over the target. I don't know about that. I think yeah, I don't know about that. maybe. How are you guys feeling though? Like, do you, and be real with me. Do you think I'm being pessimistic with those takes, right? Because, you know, I think that's I watched a really good video about how, and someone recommended this to me, by the way, one of you guys. So thank you, whoever sent me this. I really enjoyed it. How algorithms can change the brain chemistry of creators. And it was really interesting because it's about how you get desensitized within what you're doing with all of the likes and shares and comments and blah, 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 that you can within that desensitization, you lose the ability to realize when your content is changing to chase that dopamine hit. And I thought that was really interesting. And it's a great reality check. And I think, you know, I'm aware that people do change, right? We all change. People change over time. And I think my content will change over time. I think it's changed from, you know, the first upload on this channel. So it will change. But I think having that awareness of like, you know, how are you changing? What are you changing? Why are you changing? What are you changing to? I think these are good things to like just remember. And, you know, I've got you guys here. Keep me honest, keep me real, which I always want to be. But I just think that was a really cool thing to be aware of. Heather said, not the damn lisp. The lisp happens when I'm talking like just too fast and too much without having a little breather. It's like I get lazy and I lose my tongue gets caught in my teeth. God damn it, Heather. You made me lisp. What did you even say? I've lost it now. You said something nice and I can't find it, but shout out to Heather. The lispinator. And I can see some people here already starting like a YouTube versus Twitch thing. Okay, we're not going to do that. We're all one. We all like to watch where we like to watch. We are all one. RV says you're lisp maxing. We are lisp maxing. You could say this channel is it's schizo maxing. How about that? I think we should put that on a t-shirt or make that the title of a show. Schizo maxing with Polarity Josh. There we go. She says it's matured. I agree. Things should mature over time. Not as bad as losing a front tooth. No, actually, I disagree because you can get a fake tooth. You can't really change your lisp if you have one, which I don't. But sometimes it does happen. Happens to the best of us. Especially when we're talking nonstop for hours. All right, let's take a look at what's happening over here on the Twitch chat. People are subbing. Shout out to you, Taris. I appreciate you, bro. Supporting me on all angles. I really, really do appreciate that. And he's gifting subs over there as well. Thank you very much, man. Big love to you. Larissa Kelstrom with 9 months says, good morning. Larissa, good morning to you too. Thank you very much for the 9 months of support. Charlie with 8 months says, great to catch a live stream. First one for a while. A lot of files coming out, but we're still in the dark over it all. Keep up the weirdness. Love it. Thank you very much, Charlie, for the 8 months, man. That's nothing to sneeze at. And, you know, I think a lot of people are feeling that right now, that a lot of people are yeah, like fatigued, kind of just like over it, sick of it. You feel like you're getting led in circles. And, I totally feel that. I think, there's a word for it. It's called UFO burnout. It's a real thing. UFO fatigue. It's absolutely a real thing. And I think I've experienced it. I experience it fairly regularly. Jeep says Josh is a shy, humble schizo, in my opinion. Well, thank you, Jeeps. How kind of you. I think a lot of people experience it. I experience it. And I think when that happens, the best thing you can do is just step away for a little while. Step away. And often, at least I find that that usually helps me get like refreshed with a bit more zest and hunger to keep digging into the topics, because it does get frustrating, right? When you feel like you're getting led in circles, which you guys know, I certainly feel like that sometimes. And I also think not only is that why it's important to touch grass, and what touch grass actually means is that it's just getting out inside and being in nature, away from screens, away from all of the onslaught of like information. That's what it is. It's an onslaught of information. And I do feel like maybe there's some truth in some of it. There probably is. Probably a lot of bullshit in there too. But I actually think the point of the onslaught is to fatigue you, right? Because at the end of the day, nobody really wants anybody digging into these topics, right? That's why it is the most covered up, the most the tightest secrecy is around this topic, and it has been for a long time. And that we know that institutions, agencies will go to such lengths of completely discredit, character assassination, removing someone's university credentials, or even deleting them. We know that that's the thing, right? So people who are interested in this topic getting fatigued and over it, who does that benefit? It's actually the ideal outcome. And they know, I hate saying that. Who the fuck is they? Not again. Who is they? Okay, I don't know. Who knows? We have ideas, but who really knows? Given the fact that they can't control this topic, and that the toothpaste is out of the tube, so to speak, it's not going to go back in. What's the next step you can do? You can't stop people talking about it. You just overload them with so much shit that they go, "Oh my God, I think my brain is fried, and for my own mental health, I need to step away from this topic." That is the ideal outcome. And I guess coming back to the fact that I'm going to be streaming on Twitch now, I think that's going to be a good thing for me, because a lot of people sometimes ask me, does this like weigh on you? How do you feel? Are you okay? Like, I actually get asked that a lot, which is really nice. Like, a lot of people say, "Are you okay, man?" And maybe that's because I'm quite an expressive person. I'm an honest person, and I know that. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and what you see is what you get with me. So when I am maybe feeling it a little bit, I think you guys can probably see that. And I think ultimately that comes from, I would say, S-Tone says none of us are okay. It's not funny. That's actually not very funny, but it is a little bit. It is a little bit, because I agree. I agree, because I don't think you can get into this topic seriously and it not affect you at all. Right? And maybe up until a certain point. And what I love about this channel really is that it is, it's open-minded discussion. I'm willing to go and look into things at the expense of like public ridicule and whatever people want to say about me. Like, I don't really care about that, because I know who I am and what I believe in. And I think that this channel is almost like a documented journey of me digging into this stuff. And, when you go back to the beginning, it's the things I was talking about, the things that I was really interested in are not really the same as the things I am today. And that's because this has been a journey for me. And a lot of you guys have come along on that journey with me, which I think is beautiful. And I'm super grateful for that. And I think that there's a point in that journey where, for me, I kind of it kind of struck me. And honestly, I think that was the video that really blew my channel up, which is the Billy Corgan video, which in the beginning, you know, it was meant to be an interesting little deep dive into shapeshifters. And then where it took me kind of opened my eyes up to a much bigger problem, I think, in our world. And I think all of these little like conspiracy theories, not all of them, you know, I'm sure some of them are literally just conspiracy theories that don't have any truth to it, right? I'm sure. But I do think there are a lot of, I do think a lot of the big problems in our world do kind of trace back to one thing. And once I really saw that, it became very hard to see the world any differently, because it's almost like everything started to make sense, and you start to realize how much this is a very this is a bit of a doomer thing to say, but you know, Matthew Brown pretty much said it. You realize how much of our reality is a lie, and it is that it's a kind of a sad reality once you realize that. And I think for me, that's also the moment that I really understood what taking the red pill means. I mean, before that, I knew what it meant. I'd seen The Matrix, you know, take the red pill, blah blah blah. But it was at that point I was like, wow, I can't see the world how I used to anymore, because all of this makes sense. Like, and when I say all of it makes sense, that doesn't mean I think I know everything, because I don't. But I suddenly can see like kind of what is going on here, and that like how much, like just how much of it is bullshit essentially. And then you just kind of have to live the rest of your life holding that knowledge. It's just it becomes a burden, right? And I knew sort of before that I'd always wanted to kind of do a bit of my content on Twitch as well, because I mean, I actually used to stream on Twitch like 10 years ago, very casually. I used to play RuneScape and played a bit of World of Warcraft on there. So I actually streamed on Twitch before I ever did YouTube. So I always knew that was something that I wanted to go back and do. But then once it got to that point where once the Billy Corgan video came out, and I kind of, you know, really kind of learned what I feel like are some hard truths about the world, that's when I was like, okay, I don't think I can like honestly, I don't think I can't do this full time for the rest of my life. I genuinely think I'd like end up like David Wilcock. And that's a very extreme thing to say. And I'm not saying that because I was having those kind of thoughts or anything like that. But it was like, I can totally see that if I just live in this, and I dedicate my life to like this, then I can totally see how you could end up like that. 100%. I could totally see that. So, you know, I think so for me at that point, I was like, you know, and I think I've got a lot more to give than just doing this. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I can entertain and have fun and do lots of cool things in the world that isn't just digging into the darkest side of our reality that I think is very real. And people are saying like, don't say that, don't say that. Josh is going to switch to a puppy channel. No, not at all. Polarity will always exist. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. This isn't like a goodbye speech or anything like that. It's basically just telling you guys that I think there comes a point when you research a lot of this stuff, when all of a sudden like the penny kind of drops, and when the penny drops, it's almost like a part of me is like, I don't need to go, like, I kind of get it. And I don't know if I I don't know if I feel the need to go any further, because it's so fucking dark that, it's like, wow, I get it. It's rough out there. And I think there's probably a lot of people in the chat that are completely on board and understand everything that I'm saying. I think there's probably people in the chat that still have those bubbly bright eyes looking at, you know, UFO video leaks and, oh, what is that? What is this? And I respect that. And, you know, I wish I was still like that, man. I wish I do, because It's their ignorance is bliss. Ignorance really is bliss. And I'm still interested in that topic because I believe it's real. It is real. I do believe it's real. I believe a lot of things are real that we're told aren't real. But I think that it's far more likely that what we are being given now is just is like a pacifier to a baby. It's a high level intellectual pacifier for a group of babies who won't shut the fuck up. And that's basically what we're most likely going to get. So, you know, I'll suck on the pacifier. And I'm interested. I'll see what's going to happen. But to really like flip me and convince me that it's not just a pacifier, an intellectual pacifier, it's gonna like I'm gonna need some real answers, like some real accountability for like why are things the way that they are? How did it get like that? Who's to blame? And I want some answers because like until that happens, it really just feels like it's kayfabe. It feels like okay. For like the lowest level of intellect here, you've got Love Island, right? You got Love Island. For the people who are a little bit more beyond that and into something that's a little bit more engaging, you've got politics. I think that's also kayfabe. And then for the people who think politics are fake and gay, which they are, you've got people who are real truthers and they're the hardcores and they want to dig deep into the Illuminati and all of this kind of shit. For them, you have a much higher level intellectual pacifier, which is kind of this topic. I think that's at least how I feel. And like again, I feel like I'm maybe repeating myself a little bit here, but like I'm interested in this and I always have been. So like that's not going away, but it's after sort of going deep enough and like seeing the dots that connect, it's going to take something quite groundbreaking for me to feel like I'm not being bullshitted, because we have been bullshitted to for the best part of a century, right? So again, accountability, real answers is what I require to shift my position. And believe, I would love to be shifted. Like, please shift me. I don't enjoy thinking that the world is this way. It is depressing, and I don't thrive in cynicism. Did we just drop out there? No, I think we're still live. Okay, sorry. I don't thrive on cynicism. Like I don't like that. So believe me, I would love to see change in our world. I absolutely would, but I'm not going to gaslight myself into thinking that this is change when it actually looks like Atari gameplay footage. You know what I mean? S-Tone says, Josh, what you're looking for is Christ. It's an interesting comment, and you know, I won't lie. There's definitely been times on this journey, specifically after releasing that Billy Corgan video, that I remember. I think I said this to my dad at one point. I was like, you know, when you realize what is going on in the world and how deep it is and how long it's been going on for, and it gives you such a feeling of helplessness that it feels like only God can save us. Like literally, I remember saying that to my dad, that I was almost like, I kind of get it now in a way. Like if things are so fucked up and like rigid in the way that they are, that it feels like human beings are helpless and only God can save us. You know, but in saying that, I also think that like majority of religious institutions are part of that control structure. So going to church feels a bit like I don't like that. I don't want to do that. I feel like that's just part of it. But when I talk about, and you know, I've also seen people say things like, you know, I'm not a Christian, but I follow Jesus. Maybe that's something I could get on board with. I don't know. You hear people say, my dad's in the chat. Shout out to Dad. Nice to have you here, Dad. Get comfortable. Get yourself a drink. I think you hear people say like you turn to Jesus, right? Then you've got people like Armin Hillman saying that the ancient Greek texts say that Jesus is a pedophile. So like there's even that. It's like, what the fuck do you actually believe, right? But even when I interviewed Armin Hillman, I said to him, like, okay, fair enough that you think this. Fair enough that you think these things about Jesus. But what about, love thy neighbor, like don't steal, all of the teachings of Jesus, right? Like they seem to be objectively good things. They seem to be objectively good things. So maybe that's something that I could see myself getting on board with. But what I actually think is important is like I believe that there is a like a creator, I guess is a better word to put it, a creative force that flows through everything and all of us. And I do think I'm glad we kind of came here because I think this puts a little bit more of a positive spin on things. I think that there is like a natural flow and progression to the universe that we are sort of in, right? And I do think that there has to be good and bad because that is polarity, right? You can't have a universe of just good. Like good doesn't exist without bad, right? We all know that. You've been watching the channel for a long time. You get this kind of stuff. So I don't even think chasing a world that has no evil in it is the goal. Like I think that's maybe impossible. But it's like trying to find balance, learning how to deal with it. I think maybe that's the way to go about it. But also, the one thing that I also always come back to, and this is also part of like the whole sidestep to Twitch thing as well. I really believe, and I've said this on the channel before, David Icke has said similar things. Your reality is made up of the things that you focus on. And a single human being, our scope is limited, right? You can only focus on so many things. There's only so many hours in a day. You might have your favorite sport, your favorite TV show, your best friend, your favorite meal you like to cook. That's probably going to consume your whole day. Like you don't really have time for much else, right? So where you decide to put that focus and that energy is basically like a subconscious decision on what you want your life to be. And I think if you make the decision consciously or not to put that scope and that focus on the fact that it seems like a satanic cabal runs this world, then you're probably going to have a bad time. Okay. And then I guess you also get the dilemma after that of like, well, just because you're not focusing on it doesn't mean it's not happening. And that's true. I think there's like, there is subjective realities and there is an objective reality. And just because you don't focus on it doesn't mean it's happening. But I guess you also want to put some like priority. You got to prioritize your own health and sanity as well. So I think being smart about what you focus on or how much focus you give to certain topics is really important. Because I think you can be aware of these things, but I think it's also important to think about the good things that you have, the love that you have from your family, your children, your animals. My God, I miss my dog. How good are animals, right? How good is the love of a dog and other animals? But I'm more of a dog person. Cats are great too. I do love cats. But the love of a dog is so pure and just like unadulterated that it's just like something like that I think can bring so much happiness and joy into your life. So, I guess the point of this long-winded rant is that I don't think ignoring it is necessarily the play, and it's not something that I think I'll ever do because I do feel this like natural draw to these more grim topics for some reason. But I think advice for myself and for everybody here is that like, if that's all you focus on, you're gonna have a pretty sad life, unfortunately. And not focusing on it isn't like a like compliance or what's the right word? It doesn't make you like complicit in it, but you also have your own life and your own mental health. So you got to do other things that make you happy. And for me, that's going out, traveling, playing video games. And that's why I think Twitch is going to be like a cool, natural little sidestep for me. And I hope you guys who enjoy this content, not just for the UFOs, but for me, if you enjoy like me and these little rants that I go on, I think you will enjoy the stuff that comes out on Twitch as well. So again, it's twitch.tv/polarityjosh. Go and subscribe over there. You do get ads on Twitch, but if you subscribe to my channel on Twitch, it'll be ad free. So you won't get ads if you're subscribed to me over there. It's a bit of a different platform. And while I'm getting started, it honestly would mean a lot if when I am live, people just got up the Twitch stream, just mute it, just so it's helping the algorithm. That'd honestly be amazing. I'd really appreciate that. All right, let's catch up a little bit here. We got a little bit behind on that rant. Attempted Human says, hey, bro, will you be dumping us with shower thoughts or will you be showering us with dump thoughts? Love you, mate. You're a big part of my life. Thank you very much, Attempted Human. I definitely don't intend to shower you with dump thoughts, although I think I would be lying if I said that a topic on a Polarity live stream wasn't born while I was taking a dump. I would absolutely be lying if I said that. So there you go. Thank you very much. Prison Mike says reality check with Josh. Thank you very much, Prison Mike. Old Soul Joe says, hey, weirdos, best channel. You're doing great, Josh. Always looking forward to the next show. Thank you very much, Joe. Appreciate you checking in every stream. And by the way, Prison Mike over on Twitch just said, I have Prime, but I don't know how to subscribe. That is the thing. If you have Amazon Prime, they're like partnered with Twitch. And basically with your Amazon Prime subscription, you get a free Twitch sub every month. So you can use that on my channel over there and get a free, get ad-free viewing over there. And like I said, I'm planning to do some like IRL stuff. I'm heading to America soon. I'm planning to do some cool IRL streams when I'm out in Sedona, chasing orbs up in the sky, all of that kind of stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to be there for the World Cup. It's going to be a great time. Assuming I get let in, but why wouldn't I? I'm pro-America. I love America. I love everything about it. Come on, people. Let's do this. It's going to be a great time for everyone. Sweets with 5 months says, love waking up to you. High fives and hugs, weirdos. See, I remember last time. Yep. You told me what it was. I remember. Old Soul Joe, thank you very much for gifting a membership. FMJ says, don't be selfish. We need content until you're 80. FMJ, trust me, I'm not going anywhere. Polarity will always live on. And like I said, it may evolve, but it's always going to have like the same core message, which is really like an open-minded approach to the strangeness and I guess tackling topics. You know, I think one thing that I'm really, I guess, proud of is being willing to tackle things and talk about things that a lot of people either don't want to or that people will attack you for. Okay. I'm willing to do that because I know thyself. Okay. I know who I am. I know what my values are and I know what I stand for. And I know that everything I do comes from a place of like love and honesty and just really wanting truth and to one day leave this world better than it was when I came in. That is really what my values are. So, you know, if there are topics that people want to talk about that are a little bit weird, people think you're a little bit crazy, I don't care. I don't care. If I think that they're worth being discussed, then I will do it and I will host that space for us to do so. Because, you know, the chatter on the internet, it doesn't mean anything to me. And you know, and I'll also say that for the good as well. I do try to read your good comments and I do try to take them in, but I don't try to dwell on them for too long because I don't want it to change me. You know what I mean? I think sometimes people get a little gassed up when they hear too many positive comments and too many things like that. It can change people. And, you know, I'm quite fine how I am, but I do appreciate your kind comments. I do. Stevie says, absolutely loving this rant, Josh. It's like drugs. You're striking such a chord. The way you articulate this stuff is art. That's very, very kind words you've chosen there, Stevie. I appreciate that, man. Thank you very much for all of the support on the channel. It means a lot. Attempted Human says, if God is within us, then only we can save us. Oh, Attempted Human. I love that one. I do love that one. And I do believe that, I guess, you know, jumping back to the whole spirituality, God rant. I do believe that. And I do believe that is the con of like modern religion, is making you feel like somebody, Sky Daddy, the man in the clouds, is only he can save you. And he's coming. And, you know, this is something that Jason Samosa and I talked about on the channel as well, that he said that actually this super chat isn't showing up here, but I want to get it before it disappears because it's a big one from Achy Balls. He says, "You know what's good and bad within Josh. Majority know. I don't need a middleman to tell me so." Thank you very much, Achy. A massive $100, always supporting the channel, and I appreciate it a lot. Jason Samosa and I talked about the fact that with disclosure, everyone around UFO disclosure wants you to feel like something is coming soon, right? Something's coming, 2027, disclosure, Armageddon, right? It's always this sense of like something is coming. And Jason said, like, what could be the benefit of that? Why would they want that? And he suggested that it can lull people into a sense of oh God, what's the word? Being passive. What's the word? I can't think of the word. But basically, it's lulling people into a sense of like not taking any action, of a sense of waiting for something else to come. And I feel like religion does complacency. Thank you very much, sir, my man. I think religion does the same thing, right? It makes you feel like you're powerless to change the world, to change the way that it is. And again, I do think what pulls the strings in our world is something that we could call satanic. And I don't mean that in like a Lucifer the Lightbringer. I mean that as in like a child sacrificing, blood drinking demiurge that rules this world. Okay. So religion, ironically, you know, we see it in Catholic priests, rabbis. There is this weird connection to like child molestation that seems to be rampant through these groups, which is disgusting. Then these same religions are kind of lulling the people who follow them into this sense of like, you're not powerful, something else is, and it's going to come one day. You're just going to have to wait. So everyone kind of thinks like, well, we're going to have to just wait for the return of whoever to come and fix things. But I think people kind of realize that, you know, through certain what we could call rituals, which kind of sounds dark, and it can be, but I think through looking after your body, meditating, acting in a kind way, and by acting in a kind way, I mean just like being a good person, and that's like being honest, not lying, helping other people when you can, doing things in like an altruistic way, like not doing something to get something out of somebody, doing it because you care or you want, you know, you just want to do something kind. I think doing these things, eating healthily, okay, doesn't mean you have to be shredded, but just like not poisoning your body, essentially, not poisoning your own temple. I think doing these things, eating well and meditating does actually establish some kind of connection to something that some people might call like your higher self. Some people would call it God. You know, people, depends where you're from, depends where you grew up, depends what your framework is to look at these kind of things. But I do believe that you can make that connection. And I feel like once you make that connection, suddenly things like people calling you names on the internet and claiming you're this and you're that, it doesn't really matter. Like because you start to realize that those people, you start to realize that people's perception of you is just a reflection of them, right? Like they can only perceive you. Their perception is shaped by their own thoughts, their own experiences, and their own feelings. It actually has nothing to do with you. So, and I think once you like have that connection, it's kind of just like nothing else really matters. It's almost like it's a bit of a bulletproof vest in a way. I wouldn't say nothing else matters, by the way. I wouldn't say nothing else matters. Chris Ramsey, nice to see you here, my friend. Get yourself comfortable. Get a glass of water. Welcome. I think nothing else. I know I don't want to say nothing else matters, but suddenly the things that used to upset you or rock you or shake you, it kind of begins to feel like water off a duck's back. Because I don't know, you just feel like you feel like that there's something more important, and those who get it. I mean, honestly, it's a tough thing to explain, right? I think, again, those who get what I'm saying will be totally like, this guy's cooking because you get it. And those who don't, maybe they will eventually. I feel like maybe those who are close might hear this and it's resonating, and then it will click soon. And then some people will just be like, this guy is schizophrenic. And that's okay. That's okay that people think that too, because another thing I feel like I've learned is that you can't control what other people say or think about you. And trying to do so is a path to frustration and anger, and it's fruitless because you're never ever going to be able to do that. Like, obviously, you're never going to be able to do that. So why try? Why spend your limited time on this beautiful planet trying to play whack-a-mole with all of these retarded opinions? It's just no point. You know what I mean? There's no point. Susie Sunshine. Invite thoughts in, but don't offer them tea. I love it. Thank you very much, Susie. Scapular Ball with 3 months says, I love the show. Thank you for your time. My pleasure. Thank you for being here for 3 months as well. IMB says, Lady Babylon's work is not subjective. Oh, interesting comment. Now, I really like Armin Hillman. I think he's extremely intelligent. I think he's hilarious too. I think he's brilliant at what he does. I really do enjoy watching his show. But I would disagree with that. I think it potentially is subjective. And I'm not saying I think he's wrong, by the way, but I think certain things can be interpreted certain ways. And I do tend to agree with a lot of what he says, by the way. But I do think in the debate that he had on Danny Jones, there was a really interesting point that was made. And this actually kind of came up in discussion, I think, in our Discord the other night, perhaps, which you should join, by the way, link below. The person he was arguing with was basically saying that if people 2,000 years from now dig up, books and writings from the modern day, and they start reading texts about a guy called Dick, they're going to be so fucking confused, and they're going to say that the people 2,000 years ago were friends with a walking, talking phallus. They don't realize that in that time and in this time, that's just Richard. Okay, so there is some kind of nuance to this, I think, and that doesn't make me think, oh well, everything Armin says is misguided and fake. Then no, absolutely not. I don't think that, but I'm aware that there is complications and weird nuances that over thousands of years will occur, and things get lost in translation. So I don't disbelieve him at all, but I'm very open to the things he talks about, and that is kind of the way I approach everything. I don't really put 2 feet into any one story. I really just enjoy combing through the data and considering the theories and seeing what pieces fit together, which ones don't. That's really fun for me, trying to kind of create a theory. Maybe not create is the right word. I don't want to sound like I'm just fabricating some elaborate story that's fun for me. I really want the truth, right? And I think it's fun to try and see how those pieces fit and what could potentially feel like the or a truth. Someone says I missed their super chat, but I don't think I did. I haven't actually finished them yet, so it could be that. Where are we? Christina says, love being a weirdo. And Josh, thank you very much, Christina, longtime supporter of the show. Proclavith with 5 months says, good morning from the American East Coast geezers. Thank you very much, Proc. Appreciate you. Taylor Stagg says, hey, bro, early welcome to the US. After your last stream, I Googled what Hanta means in Hebrew. Fucking wild, bro. Yeah, should we talk about that for a moment? I mean, the show is about PsyOps, right? A lot of people saying I'm missing their memberships and things like that. I think it might have happened when the stream glitched. I'm going to refresh my thing here. I do apologize if I've missed it, guys. I always try to do my best, and I don't take your support for granted at all. There are a few more to go through, and I will get to them in a moment. But if they're not coming up here, I do apologize. But I love you all the same. Yeah, Hanta virus. Babe, wake up. It's PsyOp season. Hanta in Hebrew I mean, would someone mind just Googling it and copy pasting it into the chat just so I get it perfectly? But Hanta in Hebrew means essentially like scam, right? It means like a load of shit. Okay. I really want someone to Google it because I know I kind of butchered it, but it does essentially mean scam. And while someone digs that up, I will keep going here. Area 52, Chris Ramsey, friend of the show, has just dropped 20 gifted memberships for you weirdos. Chris, thank you very much, bro. Big love, man. It means a lot that you support the channel, dude. It really does. Thank you very much. And Rambro gifted 5 as well, and Raklat gifted 1. Guys, can we please spam some polarity love in this chat for these absolute legends? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Here we go. In modern Hebrew slang, Hanta commonly means nonsense, a lie, a scam, a hoax, or total garbage. It is used to dismiss stories as bogus, often phrased as zehanta. Just a load of zehanta. And here we are in PsyOp season. Babe, wake up. It's PsyOp season. They just deployed Hanta virus on us all. Isn't it great? But, you know, I said this the other day on the show that with UFO disclosure and things like this, that people kind of don't care, right? Like people kind of don't care that these videos are coming out, which I kind of get to a degree because like there's all this big deal about, oh, they're releasing the files and then we get Atari gameplay footage. So like I kind of get it that if I wasn't interested in this topic already, and I heard that like the government were releasing UFO files and there were videos, and I was like, oh wow, okay, I'll go take a look. And then I saw the videos that got released. I would also be like, don't ever talk to me again. Sorry, who told me the government is releasing UFO files and to watch that video? Don't ever text me again, please. I get it. I absolutely get it. So, yeah, I don't think anyone cares. I don't think anyone cares. And after COVID and how fed up with all the bullshit that people are with the government, ironically, I don't think anyone's going to care about hantavirus either. Especially when they realize that Hanta literally means a scam. Like, that's just going to nail it on. That's going to absolutely nail it on that no one cares about this, which is a good thing because I'm absolutely not wearing a mask and I'm not going to get another jab and I'm not going to stand 6 feet away from anybody. So if you see me while I'm in America, come and give me a big hug because we're not doing that. We're not doing that, okay? Kelly Anushka with 8 months says, yay, I caught a live stream here for a weirdo family. Best place on YouTube. Thank you very much, Kelly. That's very kind. There are a lot of good places on YouTube. You know, I would say debatable, but I will say best community on YouTube. Absolutely. You guys are unmatched. A lot of fun. You're here every day. You show up. You're punctual. And you really help spread the love. You know, you guys have... I've pushed myself sometimes to go live on days where I didn't feel good, where I haven't really been feeling it, but I wanted to do it. I wanted to show up. And honestly, the moment I go live, not even the moment, like when I schedule the live stream and people are already in there like talking and excited for me to go live, it lifts me up. Like you guys literally lift me up. You really do. So I can't thank you enough just for being here. But obviously, you know, all this extra support that happens with this channel is just amazing. So I do have to thank you guys a lot. And, you know, I never asked for that. And that's another amazing thing too. I've never asked for a super chat. I didn't even know it was a thing before I started on YouTube. I never asked for any of that stuff. The fact that you guys do it, it means a lot to me. Thank you very much. Hantavirus is distracting us from the Disney cruise ship trafficking story. Really? Is that current? Is that happening now? I've not heard about that one, but am I shocked by that title? Not really. Not really. Especially if you've watched Out of Shadows, which, you know, this is sounding a bit contradictory to what I said at the start of the stream. Just, you know, be conscious about what you consume and what it does to you and what kind of truths you really want to uncover. Because remember, once you know, that's it. You can't unknow. There's no such thing as unknowing. And I think for me, getting into like conspiracies and looking into truth and stuff like that, you know, it's truth seeking. You have this like insatiable, rabid appetite to keep going and discovering because there's some kind of there is some sense of I don't know about like relief, but like accomplishment, achievement, I think is the right word. When you really start to feel like you're putting the pieces together, like there's actually a sense of achievement that comes in that, and it's like a little bit fulfilling in a way. But then there's like a line. There's like a line that, again, that I feel like I crossed, and once you cross that line, it's kind of like when you walk into a new part of the map in World of Warcraft and you open your map and the whole map just opens up. So suddenly you thought you were just taking a few steps, but the whole map just opened up now. And you can't close that part of the map off. Now you can see all of that on the map. And maybe initially you get a big sense of achievement, but then it's kind of like, okay, wow. It's the world is a vampire. Billy Corgan said it best. Interesting that he wrote that lyric, isn't it? The world is a vampire. Where'd you get inspiration for that one, Billy? Huh? Where'd you get inspiration for that one, Billy? Zeitgeist with 10 months says, hi, Josh and Weirdo fam. Just drop in to send some love. Unfortunately, I can't stay today. Keep up the hard work. Can't wait for my PsyOp tea. Thank you very much, bro, for ordering the merch. I appreciate it. And for the 10 months, dude. You're coming up to that golden badge. It's going to look great on you. And if you guys want to get yourself a Reality is a PsyOp, you can head to the merch store right there, I think. I can't actually see my stream. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Or if you're a girl and you want a cute little tank, get yourself one of them. That's a seraphim angel on the chest. Yep, that's right. Not today, Baal. We have an army of seraphim angels standing up. Let's do this. Angry Drunk German says, in a perfect world, science is the pursuit of truth. In this world, all science is funded by government and big business, which makes it difficult. You always have really good comments, Angry Drunk German. Thank you for that. And I totally agree. Science, actually, I think Chris said this to David Icke in their interview, and he used the word Scientism, I think it was. Or there was like a word that he used. Not sure if he's still here, Chris. Help me out if it was. But that was the first time I'd heard that term, but it immediately rung true, and I obviously understood what it meant. And that is that, you know, science has become like a religion in a way, and that is you toe the line, and stepping outside of that line is heretical. And why that bothers me, and I'm sure many of you guys, is that we all kind of know that humanity has only advanced and developed from the people who were willing and brave enough to speak outside of the lines, of the guidelines. And I think people do that. Wow. Amazing. Chris Ramsey has just dropped $100 and says, I would love it if you joined me as a co-host for my live podcast in Tucson, LA, and San Francisco in August. Chris Ramsey, brother, you know that I am there. If you want me for all 3 dates, I'm your man. You just let me know. I'm down for all 3, dude. Thank you very much for inviting me. It's a genuine honor. I'm excited to do something like that with you. And I can't wait, bro. Let's do it. Can't wait. Thank you very much. Where was I? That's a tough one to come back from. I was talking about heretical thinking. You rocked me a little bit there, Chris, doing that to me live. People don't know that we've already talked about this. I was trying to keep that one under wraps for a little while. People don't know that we've already spoken about this. But I like that. I like the way you did that, bro. Thank you very much. That's really cool. Thank you. Heretical thinking. Galileo is the main example here, that he was ridiculed publicly for thinking outside of the box and what was accepted, and it turned out he was right, and the suppression of his voice held humanity back. A lot of people excited about that. I think that's amazing as well. So I actually want to do, I wanted to finish what I was saying, but I do want to give this a little bit of time as well. So guys, I know most of my audience is American. I know most of you guys are American. So if you're out in Tucson, LA, or San Francisco, let's do it. Come out, come say hello. I mean, I'm hoping to meet a lot of you guys at Contact in the Desert. But if you're in those areas as well, it's probably nothing. Get your tickets because we're going to be there live and in the flesh. It's going to be a lot of fun. I actually have no idea what to expect. We haven't really fleshed anything like that out yet, but I know it's going to be a great time. So I'm very excited to do that. And for those who don't know, those dates are Tucson, 9th of August, LA, 11th of August, San Francisco 13th. That's off the top of the dome, by the way. I could be wrong, but it's about that. It's probably nothing.com. Go and take a look. Okay. What else we got here? Here's something for your audience. We got Bashar in LA. No way. What, and you want me to be there too? So it's going to be me, you, and Bashar? Is that what you're saying? Dude, I would love to meet Bashar. I've talked about Bashar many, many times on this channel. That would be unreal, dude. And obviously, I have to say, if you ever had the inkling, or if you ever wanted to take the show down under, I'm your man, bro. Let's do it. I'll run the whole thing with you in Australia. If you need any help with anything organized down there, you just let me know, dude. I'll help you out. Cara Taylor says, Josh, would love to have you stay free in our Airbnb when you come to Arizona, Grand Canyon, and Sedona, and then I wouldn't feel so guilty for just lurking here for so long. Cara, hey, let me know. Accommodation's expensive in America, okay? Trust me, I know. If that offer is on the table, please get at me. My email's there, josh.polarity@gmail.com. I will shamelessly take you up on that one. Thank you. Darkness with 12 months. Darkness. Hello, Darkness, my old friend of 12 months. He says, 1 year, here I am. Thank you, Josh. Amazing watch. You smash it. Thank you, man. Thank you for a year of support. It's a long time. It is a long time. And there's so many people that are cracking their year-long badge now. So that's just amazing to see that something is going right, that people want to stay around, that people want to stick around for that long. So I really appreciate that. Thank you. Christina says, morning, weirdos and Josh. Good morning. Thank you very much, Christina. And cool, we are all up to date now on Super Chats. How are we going over here on Twitch, people? Shout out to the people in Twitch. Sorry you're not getting as much attention. Next time we go live, we're going to have your chats combined on the screen so we can I can keep up with everything that's happening. YouTube people, you are going to, I know, I must say I'm a little bit sad about this. And this is the only reason I didn't do it for today's stream. That when we have the chats combined, the custom polarity emojis on YouTube are not going to show up on the screen. It's going to be like written text and it's going to look ugly. And I really don't like that. But I think, at least for now, hopefully it gets fixed in some point. But for now, it's a sacrifice we have to make. But what you guys are going to hate the most, though, my YouTube family, what you guys are going to hate the most is that the emotes do come up if you're on Twitch. It stings, doesn't it? It stings. It stings for me. It stings for me. But this is a YouTube problem. Okay, Twitch, I guess their API, the way that the chat integrates with this multi-streaming software is just more like open and better, I guess. And YouTube is a bit more like closed house and it's not as free flowing. You know, I'm not a tech guy, obviously. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but there you go. If you love your emojis, you might want to start watching on Twitch, maybe. But yeah, hopefully it's something that gets fixed down the line. I know it sucks. I know it does. Excuse me. Rosen, Pose, and Frozen says, starting my shift, picking up dog shit. I love it here. Couldn't get through it without Polarity family. Aliens for the win. Greer is a reptilian. Yeah, I think I agree with everything that you just said. And I hope you have a great day picking up that dog shit. I hope you do it efficiently. Hope you do it quickly. And I hope you do it right. Thank you very much, Rosen, Pose, and Frozen. Friend of the show. Yankees help. Yankees help, Josh. Yep. We might even be going to go see the Yankees. We're going to go see the Dodgers. I can't wait. I mean, I think a lot of you guys know. Some of you guys know my lore. I grew up playing baseball. The sport is very close to my heart. And as a kid, going to watch a major league game was like, bucket list, childhood dream. It was like, but also so like far removed. Like we're literally on the other side of the world. The games play at like times that don't work for us. So going to a major league game was always a dream. And when I'm there, I've already got tickets to 2 games. I'm going to go see the Dodgers. I'm going to go see the Giants in San Francisco. I want to go see a Yankees game at Yankee Stadium. And I kind of want to go see the Texas Rangers too, just because Texas, you know? Just because Texas. Everything's bigger and better in Texas, isn't it? So I've heard. Can't wait. Rambro says, come up to Canada and we'll get you to a hockey game. Absolutely. I'm actually toying with the idea of a Canada trip at the end of the year. Just a quick one. My brother is there right now doing a season. What I did 10 years ago, a very fond memory of mine, working a season on Big White Ski Resort. Amazing memories. And he's currently over on that side of the world now. So I kind of want to just, and I love snowboarding too. I fucking love snowboarding. So I kind of want to go just get my little fix, maybe for like a month or 2. And while I'm over there, Rambro, let's do it. I'm going to hold you to it. We're going to go to a hockey game. You're going to teach me how to speak with an Alberta accent, and we're going to do all the things. And I can't wait. I can't wait, bro. Old school game of baseball with the homies, you know, that's it. Hey, I grew up watching the Sandlot Kids. It's in my blood. It's in my blood. The San Fran Giants are killing it right now. I know. I didn't watch the full games, but I watched the highlights with the Dodgers. Yep. They are. They're doing great. Come to Chicago. I'll take you to a Cubs game. I don't have plans to go to Chicago, but if I ever am, let's do it. Let's absolutely do it. You know, I was okay. While we're here, anyone in the chat, one call. I've got 2 call outs actually. I would like to put out to people for some help while I'm in the States. The first one is the big one, which, you know, I don't know if anyone can help me with this, but it would be incredible if you could. Me and my 2 brothers, who I'm meeting up with there, are going to be flying to Seattle for the Australia versus USA game in the World Cup. It's on like the 20th of June. We don't have tickets to it. They're sold out. Unless you get like the premium VIP packages that are like $2,000 US each, which I'm not going to buy that. If anyone has any connections or any strings that could be pulled to help me get 3 tickets to that game, I would love you dearly. That would be amazing. Secondly, I've kind of figured out that a lot of bands seem to do their tours. A lot of American bands seem to do their tours in Europe for summer, which I kind of get. But if there's any good concerts or festivals on this summer in America, get at me, because I want to go see some good heavy music. Okay, you guys know I like my emo stuff, metals, all that kind of stuff. Not just that though. I like all kinds of music, but that's my roots. That's where I came from. Okay. I was molded by MySpace. Okay, that's my jam. So if you know about any of that, I actually saw Seosin here I'm in the Philippines at the moment. I saw that Seosin's first show, I believe, here in the Philippines, or at least in the city that I'm in, which was incredible. Seosin, very, very close to my heart as well. Love that band so much. Josh likes to mosh. Not anymore, Kelly. Teenage Josh liked to mosh, very much so. But these days, my back hurts. So I would rather, actually, Seosin quote, rather be sitting than pitting. It encapsulates how I feel perfectly. Yoshi says Josh likes some screamo. I absolutely do. I think, and it's funny, like, you know, it's kind of funny because some people talk about how, you know, we were talking earlier in the stream about like satanic influence in the world, darkness, and, you know, religion, spirituality, blah, 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 blah. And I feel like some people, when they hear that music, or they hear you listening to it, or they just hear it in general, they're like, that's demonic. That's evil. They're screaming. What are they, possessed? You know, you hear shit like that. I think like for anyone who's into that kind of music, you would actually know that, first of all, those kind of concerts are some of the safest places you can be. People, although there is moshing, whenever anyone falls over, it is like, you know, everyone turns into an emergency response crew and picks them up. There's like a lot of care and love in those places, which is really nice. Also, metalheads in general are kind of just like teddy bears. Like they look scary, but they're actually really they're kind of like nerds in a way. They're just like friendly nerds. So great people. But I think that there's something about like the music. I don't know. I feel like when you're comfortable with that kind of energy, I'm trying to think about the point I'm trying to get out here. When you're comfortable with that kind of energy, which I guess you could call darkness, there's maybe a bit of a darkness to it. And like I said, I think there's darkness in all of us, right? Like we all have good and bad in us to varying degrees. But I think when you are comfortable with that energy and that kind of music, you become comfortable with, I think you become more comfortable with like facing some of these dark topics and some of these issues that, you know, we get into on the stream because, you know, you're a little bit more familiar with darkness and the, you know, some man screaming into a microphone doesn't scare you. You know what I mean? Like you've been there. So I think it has something to do with that. What about D&B, Josh? You said you went to Outlook. Yeah, I love drum and bass. I don't listen to it as much anymore. I think liquid drum and bass is like a nice morning music. You know, when you're starting your day, just something nice and chill and cruisy to kind of get up and about. I don't really go to raves anymore. That being said, the dog definitely likes to come out of the cage like once a year. Okay. Still like to send it maybe once a year to really let the dog out. But these days I can sort of enjoy that stuff from a bit more of a distance. But I find, you know, growing up, it was heavy music, punk rock, you know, all that kind of stuff. Then, you know, you turn 18, you start raving. You know, I took the emo to raver pipeline. Very common, by the way. Very, very common. Emo to raver pipeline. Then after raving for quite a while, which, you know, if you've raved, you would know that it's not really a sustainable leisurely activity. Well, it could be, but it costs you. Okay, it costs you, if you know what I'm saying. So after I kind of backed off the raving a little bit, kind of came full circle back to my roots. And now going to gigs, like going to see Scientism the other day. I went to quite a few shows before I started traveling. I went and saw Atreyu. I went and saw Mayday Parade. There were a couple of bands I went and saw before I left Australia. And I just love live music, man. Love live music. It's just so good. It's such a good energy. It's just so fun. I don't know. It's like uplifting, even when it's people screaming. Like it's just, if it's music that means something to you, it still kind of gives you that feeling. So yeah, back to my roots. Love it. And there was one more thing I wanted to say with that. God damn it. I don't know. I love music. There you go. That'll wrap that one up. RV says, D&B is my roots. I'm 32 next month and I'm going back to my hip hop and D&B roots. I love it. I love it. And I know you're from England, RV. Manchester, which is in a removed way my roots. They make great drum and bass. They make great bass music. I love like the grime, the drum and bass, and the dubstep that comes out of that part of England. I was into dubstep, not like the Skrillex dubstep, by the way. Like, I was into like Distance, Tonnage, Scream, Benga, Koki, DMZ. Some people might not know who I'm talking about, but like I was into like underground bass music in like 2011, 2012. That was like my raving. That was like my drum and bass. That's when I went to Outlook. What a time to be alive, by the way. I wish that music was still popular. I still listen to it every now and then. That's like nighttime music for me. That's like headphones on, good headphones, by the way. That's the kind of music where if someone's like, hey man, listen to this song, and they show you on their phone and they show you like DMZ or like Marla, chest plate. Yes, exactly, RV. They show you a bit of chest plate on their phone. You're going to be like, that sounds so shit. Put it through one of these and you're going to be like, oh, I've gone to another realm. Dubstep dancing is cringe, but I can't look away for some reason. Yeah, I mean, dubstep dancing, I think that to me is like probably, I feel like you're thinking of like Skrillex dubstep dancing perhaps. Because when I went to gigs, I went to Scream's birthday show in London in 2013, and it was in this like, it wasn't obviously an airplane hangar because it was in the middle of London, but it was in a room that felt like an airplane hangar. It had this curved roof, and it was Oh my God, where did I lose it? There. It was nothing like that. Nothing like that. It was basically just a lot of people bobbing their head with a lot of enthusiasm, which doesn't sound fun, but it is the vibe. Like, if you're there, it is the vibe, and it's a great time. The longest line I've ever seen in my life was for Skrillex. Funnily enough, again, what did I say about the emo to raver pipeline? Skrillex is the poster boy for that. Skrillex was, before he was Skrillex, he was Sonny Moore, the poster boy of emo kids with black eyeliner and pink eyeshadow with the biggest fringe you've ever seen, singing for like one of the biggest emo rock bands. And then he became Skrillex. So that's what I'm saying. The emo to raver pipeline is so real, and many people take it. Scotty says, depends. I had to be on LSD and MDMA for dubstep. Look, quite a bit of MDMA may have been consumed in those years, absolutely. But what I found was actually quite common at dubstep shows was people smoking weed. And I can definitely see, I mean, I can see both, but I think, you know, smoking a little weed with some heavy old school underground type dubstep, I can get around that. I can absolutely get around that. The Moth NZ says, love your work, mate. Been obsessing over UFO alien stuff for over 25 years. Jimmy Carter told my cousin when he came to New Zealand that aliens are real and the government would never admit it in his lifetime. Who's your cousin having a yarn with Jimmy Carter? Who is your cousin? But it doesn't surprise me, dude. And it tracks with all the other little nuggets and tidbits that we hear come out from previous presidents and things like that. Yeah. I can't help but wonder why never admit it though? That's what I can't understand. And the only conclusion that I really can draw is that it's because they somehow have an overarching control of everything. And okay, this is grim. And this has actually been my theory for a long, long time. This was in a video that was going to be my first ever YouTube video. And it never actually got posted. But I still think well, it's one of my theories. But I think that the reason why the truth is terrible, the terrible truth, and why it's too indigestible and we can't know is that whatever this non-human intelligence is, it has control. That's why, you know, no matter how people kick and scream, we always seem to go in the same trajectory. But that for some reason, if we knew and if everyone collectively, like on a wide scale, was aware of what was happening, that it would somehow ruin what's going on. And that might actually mean, I think I've used the farm analogy before, and I think this is the best way to put it, that, you know, sheep, or let's say cows on dairy cows. Okay, the dairy cows are in the farm and they get their grass and they're kind of happy just hanging out, mooing, and then they come in and they get milked for their resource by the farmer. If somehow the cows like became a little more like aware and more like sentient, and their like intellect began to rise a little bit, and they suddenly had this like moment of awareness, like, hang on, there's far more to reality than beyond this pen. I'm just sitting in here eating grass while this guy just milks me for my milk every couple of weeks or whatever. I'm just like a resource. I'm just getting like harvested in this little pen. And there's a massive world out there that I'm being lied to about. I'm being made to feel like the whole world is just this cow pen. While meanwhile, this motherfucker just milks me for all my shit. If all the cows started to realize, Serp says, if you're lucky, they're milking you. I love it. If all the cows collectively gained that kind of awareness, they're going to be like, okay, fuck this farmer. He's been acting like he's our friend the whole life, and he's just literally lying to us and milking us for our resources. We're going to break down this fucking pen wall, or we're going to kill the farmer. We're going to kill this farmer and we're going to escape, or something like that, right? I kind of think, and so if that started happening, the farmer who although the cows are now a little bit more intelligent, the farmer is still far more superior in intellect, right? Remember, the farmer is the aliens, we're the cows. If the farmer starts to realize that the cows are becoming aware of the operation and are planning to revolt or are starting to fight back, the farmer's just gonna get the shotgun and put them down and go and get a new set of cows that aren't as aware, and he'll start the process over again. I think that could be the terrible truth, and I think that could be why we will never know, because our awareness on this topic would create so much turmoil in the wider concept or in the wider consciousness of everybody on this world, that we would be so disgusted and angry that we would revolt in some way. And if we are being harvested for something, whether it's loosh, energy, blood, about that bit of grape soda, bit of grape soda, missing children everywhere. That's the one thing we can't solve. Despite the Giga Palantir nose-picking detection systems, we can't figure out where the children are. Weird. And when it comes to sheep, lamb are a delicacy to us. It's a grim comparison to make, but this is kind of how I see things. That if we really realized what was going on in our world and we were like, fuck this, we're not going to take it anymore. The farmer that is still far more intelligent than us, that has access to technology that seems like magic to us, what could that be? They're just going to go, all right, for fuck's sake, they've figured it out. The operation doesn't work anymore. Bring in the younger Dryas. We're going to have to wipe the board clean. I think that's kind of a theory that I lean into a lot. And I think it makes sense. And, I saw a quote today that I really liked. It was very simple. It was something like, God, I can't remember it, so I feel like I'm going to butcher it. But it was something like, life is a mystery to enjoy, not to not to spend your time here discovering the answer, not trying to figure it out. You're here to enjoy it, not figure it out. And that's something that, obviously, we're here on this channel trying to figure it out. But I do think, again, this is kind of the theme of the show, I guess, that we need to be aware of how much time you're putting into that and how is it affecting your health, your mental health. And to remember that you got to be enjoying your time here, because, you might get to 80 one day when you're on your deathbed and they could still be releasing pictures and videos that look like they were filmed on an Atari. Imagine that. Guys, seriously, think about that. If you get to 80, 90, or however old you are when you're on your deathbed, and this conversation is still kind of where it is, but remember, it goes around in windy circles, really windy, so it feels like you're always going somewhere new, but you're still kind of getting the same stories, right? Imagine if you get to 80 and you're still watching leaked UAP footage in the UFO files that looks like Atari games, and you realize that you spent most of the time in your waking life focused on this topic that kind of just felt like the greatest PsyOp of all time that has led nowhere. That's your life. You only get one. I feel like I'm convincing people to never watch my channel again, by the way, which is probably not a great thing to do, but I will always keep it real with you, and I will always be interested in this stuff, and that's not going to change. But I'm also very aware of the fact that, we got to be careful where we place our attention and where we place our energy. And it's okay to be interested in things, but you got to prioritize your mind and your life, your own health before anything. And if you feel like this topic is starting to bring you down into a hole, take a break. I think it's always going to be here. I don't think you're going to miss disclosure. Okay. You know what I mean? If you take a break for a week, I don't think you're going to come back and be like, oh, I missed it all. They finally admitted to why they covered everything up for 80 years and gave us all the answers in the week that I took off. I think you'll be fine. Take a week off. Go walk your dog. Go on a hike. Go call your mom or whatever. I think you'll be fine. Attempted Human says, crazy how normies say Epstein is too scary to talk about, then they go and sit on the couch and watch Squid Games to relax. Yeah, well, that's the thing. You dress a little truth in fiction, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Gromank, thank you for the $10. Doing it for the love of the game, my friend. Thank you, thank you. Dingy Digger gave 10 gifted memberships. Thank you very much, Dingy Digger. Welcome to the 10 new weirdos. And I think we got a lot of new members in tonight. Guys, if you got a membership, welcome. Connect your YouTube to Discord. If you join, you can join the member section. A lot of cool stuff happening in there. Lots of streams and people hanging out in voice chat. You're welcome to come and join. I do members only streams sometime as well, which I want to do more of. A little bit hard at the moment. And you get a badge next to your name that levels up the longer that you're a member. And if you like anything that has been gamified, like me, that becomes important to you. Leveling up is important. Attempted Human says the sheep spend their lives fearing the wolf, but it's the shepherd who eats them. Ooh. Ooh. Attempted Human just fired one into a slug to the chest. Yep. And there's also wolves dressed as sheep. That we need to be aware of that too. The sheep spend their lives fearing the wolf, but it's the shepherd who eats them, and it's the people often that they think are sheep that are helping the shepherd. God damn, this community is incredible. John Anthony just dropped $100 on us as well. God, I'm eating steak tonight. I'm eating steak tonight, boys. Thank you very much, guys. Crazy support. You guys are honestly insane. John Anthony says, hi, Josh. Yesterday, Michael Phillip dropped an interview with author William Henry, who believes the Enochian Bible watchers were benevolent. It would be cool if you could host a debate between William and Tim Alberino. Thanks for all your work, mate. Thank you, John. I haven't seen that. I do like Michael Phillip's work. I'm looking forward to catching up with him at Contact. I really like that you suggested hosting a debate, because that's actually an idea that I've had for a long, long time. And it's actually something I'd really like to do, because I feel like one of my abilities or gifts, which is not always a good thing, it can be frustrating sometimes, is to see things from multiple perspectives. And I think that would be a really good asset to have, to host a debate. And I really like debates. And I don't like watching debates when there is no mediation, or when the mediator isn't mediating properly. And I think I would be really good at mediating. I'm not going to lie. I think I'd be really good at making sure everyone gets to say and speak fairly, and just allow constructive discussion and not allow any bullshit. I think I could do that well. So I would love to do that. I don't know necessarily William Henry very well, so it's probably something I'd need to read up on. But when I first had this idea was back in the sort of golden era. Rambro says, some would say you're a master debater. Some would, Rambro, and they might be right. I first had this idea back in the golden era of disclosure, prior to feeling like it was a PsyOp, when, back when like Lou Elizondo was more on the circuit, back when Stephen Greer was 48 hours away from his 72 Green Beret whistleblowers coming forward to give us disclosure back then. And then at the same time, and this is what I love about disclosure. You got Stephen Greer on the podcast circuit saying I'm 72 hours away from disclosure with my army of Green Berets. You've got Lou Elizondo doing the disclosure circuit saying I used to work in the programs. And at the same time, they're pointing at each other going, he's a liar. You got to love disclosure, people. You have to love disclosure. And that's when I first had the idea of like, man, I would love to have Greer and Lou on a podcast, and let's talk about it. Let's be open and honest. Let's allow everyone to say their points and give their rebuttals, and let's figure out what the fuck is going on here. Because in a perfect world, I would like to think that with some adult constructive discussion, hopefully you guys realize you're actually on the same team and you both want the same things, but maybe your egos just got a little bit in the way. And we know Stephen Greer's got a little bit of an ego. Okay, just a little one. He benches 700 pounds, by the way. Sorry, leg press. He leg presses 700 pounds, by the way. And if you didn't know, he used to be a trauma doctor. Just a little bit of an ego. But I do, but the reason why I feel like that specific debate would probably never happen is because I do think the real answer is one of them, and I really don't know which one, but one of them is probably talking shit, or maybe both, And I guess, and I don't know that. I would never accuse them unless I had proof, of course. But I think Eric Hecker said this a long time ago, and I got to speak to Eric on the channel, and he gets attacked a lot as well, which I find interesting. Again, I think some of it's probably the way that he carries himself, but I like to look beyond that and actually like to look at what people say and listen to their perspective. And one thing that Eric highlighted is that a lot of these people may actually be controlled opposition, or it's basically the deep state setting its own margins, right? And so what that is, it's like you've got Lou Elizondo over here on this side saying, I worked for ATIP, and we're trying to get government disclosure the right way, and blah 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 blah. And then you've got Stephen Greer all the way over here going, they're all a disinfo agent, it's all a PsyOp, all aliens are good, all abductions are orchestrated by the military, and I've got an army of whistleblowers that'll tell you. Okay? So you've got two people now on the complete opposite ends of the spectrum. Eric Hecker believes that both of these people are working for the same people, the same cabal. And what this does is it sets up the framework of where the discussion is allowed to take place. They don't care if you believe Stephen Greer. They don't care if you believe Lou Elizondo. There might even be a little bit of truth sprinkled into both of what they say, and that's what makes them, believable. But there's also a lot of bullshit. But as long as your discussion remains in that within those margins, it doesn't matter. That's fine. It's okay. But if you start talking about the things outside of those margins, that's when the retards on X start accusing you of all kinds of bullshit and start attacking you because you're now talking about things that are outside of the controlled discussion. I think that's a really good theory. I think Eric Hecker is, I don't think Eric Hecker's a liar at all. I believe everything that he says. I think what could be up for debate is, his theory, right? I believe he worked where he worked. I believe he did what he did. I believe he saw what he saw. But him, talking about direct energy weapons and all these kind of things, well, he believes he's been told on good authority that the earthquake was caused by a direct energy weapon in Antarctica. He said he was told that. Possibly. It wouldn't surprise me. That's what I'll say. It wouldn't surprise me. But everything else about giant voice to skull technology, all this kind of stuff, that's his theory. Okay. So would I say I believe that? No. But am I open to it? Absolutely. 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 I'm open to Raytheon, who he worked for, operating with a nefarious purpose in Antarctica. Obviously, I think most of us are open to that possibility. And I like Eric because, he can't just tell you in a skiff. He's not tied to NDAs. He just kind of says it. And he says it raw, and people don't like that. People don't like it when people say it raw. I think people need to learn to look past semantics and little things that annoy them and upset them, and just listen to what people are saying, and not get caught up on the emotional side of it. See how the pieces fit. Sweets says t-shirt touch grass after Polarity. Yes, you can get yourself a touch grass t-shirt. We've got them in the oversized. That's not there. Actually, I don't know if I've got them on the reel here, but yeah, oversized tees, just like this one that say touch grass. And actually, it would have been good if I had it. I've got a new, maybe hold your orders, because I've got a new design coming up to celebrate my boots landing on the ground in the land of the free. And I did accidentally leak it the other day. So some of you probably know what it is. Some of you do know what it is. But if that's a little hint as to what the design could be, there is a new oversized tee, and also like a girl's kind of like a loose crop top type thing, something you'd maybe wear to the gym or whatever. I don't know. I'm not your fashion designer. Wear it how you like. But yeah, that's going to be coming soon. So maybe hold your orders. I'll get that up very, very soon. Angie Wilson says hi for the first time. Thank you very much, Angie, for tuning in for the first time. Welcome. Appreciate you being here. Get a seat. Get comfortable. We're going to go for a little bit longer. This is After Dark. Normally, we're presenting, we're looking at clips and stuff. This show is all just about me yapping and kind of answering your questions and interacting with you guys. And we are live on Twitch at twitch.tv/Polarity Josh. Polarity Josh. It's been V2K. It is V2K, been around for a long time. Voice to, what is that? Voice to something? I've done a lot of research on it because it happened to my mum. I don't really think it's operating out of Antarctica, but I suppose it is possible. I mean, I think it would be possible to be operating out of, like, I don't think it would just be out of one place. If it exists and if it's being used wide scale, it's probably got a home in many regions, I would say. Voice to skull? Yeah, that's what I thought they meant. But V2K, like K is K, skull starts with an S. I don't know, but that is what I thought that they meant. Oversized? Geez, Josh, I'm 110 pounds, 5'6". That's okay. That's okay. You can still get an oversized tee. They do like extra small oversized. You still buy your normal sizing. It's just like a bit of a looser fit. Like you see how the hem, whatever the hell that bit's called, it's a bit lower rather than being up here. That's just what an oversized tee is, and the sleeves are a little bit longer. Voice to skull will be the new Bluetooth soon. It probably already is. You know, I think the next conspiracy theory that people are going to get right is like the whole like 5G towers thing. And that's when people are going to be like, wait, so actually having a tinfoil hat is effective. That's the ultimate PsyOp, is making you think wearing a tinfoil hat is like stupid and crazy, but actually it protects you from the radio waves the government is frying your brain with. That's the real PsyOp. Yep. 420 Breezy says, I'm 5'6" as a man, a midget, basically. Bro, shout out to the Short Kings. I think I'm lucky enough that I just graduated out of the Short King category, but not by much. Not by, I shouldn't really even speak because people will see me and be like, no, you are a Short King. But I think at 5'9", I think at 5'9", I just got out. Thank God. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I mean, in photos with people, I always do look, I'm usually the shortest one. So there you go. I'm with you, bro. Yeah, shout out to the 5'9"ers. There you go. Hey, Heidi says it's okay to be the Short King. There you go. Oh, look, we're getting support from the females in the community. See? What a great community. Even the girls love the Short Kings here. That's advertisement. That's advertisement. We need to put that out there, and we're going to start getting more people in these streams. We've already had a few matches made in the Polarity community. Okay, we got a couple getting married soon, I believe. I don't think it's happened yet, that met in the Polarity community. So, and they're not the only ones either. So, you know, it's not a dating app though. Don't come in the Discord trying to flirt with everyone. But it has happened. And there you go. 420 Breezy says, ladies, I can cook. I love it. Love is in the air and the Discord. It certainly is. There is a lot of love in the Discord. There really is. And I ruthlessly rule this Discord. I really do. And I have a group of people, my mods and others, who are like the hand of the king in Game of Thrones. Because when people act up, I'm just like, kick this motherfuckers right now. I got no patience. I protect that Discord with everything that I have because it's very special to me and a lot of people. But I have a lot of people around me who are my voice of reason. And they talk me down off the ledge, so to speak. Not that I'm going to jump off the ledge, but I'm trigger happy. I'm trigger happy, people. Mess with my Discord, you will be removed. But I do have more reasonable voices who I listen to, and they help keep the balance and the peace. And it's a beautiful place. I'm very proud of it. Here, boss. Yep, thank you. Thank you. I do my best. P-Shaw can cook to my cat cook spaghetti. Your cat cooks spaghetti? That's amazing. That is amazing. Scotty Wee on Twitch says our community is rad. I agree, Scotty. I agree. You're part of it too, brother. All the people here on Twitch. Shout out to you guys watching over there. Thank you very much. First of many. Jezzy says, where's the Polarity dating channel? Now, look, I've jokingly toyed with the idea of creating a dating app for weirdos, for people who are into conspiracies, making a dating app, which I actually think would be successful, by the way. I actually think it would be very successful because I'm single, as many of you know, and naturally I have dabbled into the realm of dating apps, and they suck. They suck for so many reasons, like so many reasons that I could probably spend a long time talking about. But I think for the most part, for I would say for people like us who really value like deep discussion, real connection, like I don't care or have time for like, hey, how are you? What do you do? What you get up to? What's your favorite color? Gay? Like I don't care. Don't have time for it. But with those apps, you can't just like match with someone and be like, so you realize 9/11 was an inside job, right? You understand that because that is a prerequisite if this is to continue. You can't do that, unfortunately. Trust me, I've tried. And it doesn't work too well. Now, but then I also can't be fucked doing the little dance. Doing the dance of like, you know, how are you? I can't be bothered doing it over and over because you'll probably have to do that dance 10 times to find someone who does know that 9/11 was an inside job. And that takes a lot of energy. And I value where I give my energy and my time. And so you can do it in like a bit of a removed way where you kind of just like don't really care. But then they fit like, and understandably, women can feel that. They can feel that like you're putting in no effort and that you actually don't give a fuck. And it's true. I don't. It's true I don't because I don't really know if you're even worth investing my time into. So this is why I do think an app for people like us who do want to talk about the fact that 9/11 was an inside job and that is a cute little topic for a first date, which it is. I do think it would actually be successful. But I think it might have limited success. You know what I mean? Like I think it's probably going to make a few matches for a while, and then it's probably going to dry out. I think it's probably going to dry out, and then it's going to become like a bit of a creepy app. That's how I foresee that business venture. Hey, who knows? Maybe it'll work. Maybe if someone wants to get at me with a proposition, we can do it. But I also don't know the literal first thing about building an app or even like doing a partnership with someone. So you'd actually have to hold my hand. But if you want to hold my hand, let's do it. I shouldn't say that because do I really want to be part of a dating app? I don't even know. I feel like I'm contributing to like dating app culture, which I don't even like. Yeah, who knows? We'll see. We'll see what happens. Check your IG messages, Josh. I built a dating app. That's my occupation. I own it and it's never been released. Are you serious, Stevie? Send me a little you know, like a, what is it called when you like, let's do Shark Tank. Let's do Shark Tank, Stevie. Pitch me with like a PDF document or something. I'll be the shark. That'll be fun. Maybe we can do it live. We'll get you on live. You can pitch it to me in the audience. Shark Tank for schizos. What if the app also includes our alien friends? I'd like to meet some non-human baddies. Oh, Dave, Ventus, wouldn't we all? I don't know if you guys saw the short clip. I reposted it on X the other day or yesterday. Clint from the night shift. There's like a 5-second clip of Clint from the night shift. And I feel like he's about to say something else. Maybe not. I don't know. But it cuts off at the perfect point. And the way he looks at the camera, he just goes like, the Greys need to know that humans will fuck them. And he just has like this serious look and then it cuts. I don't know if he's about to say like, fuck them up or I don't know what he's about to say. But I don't want to know. I'm happy with it being like that. I think it should be like that. And he's probably right. He's definitely right. Wait until the furry community finds out about disclosure. That's when it's over. When the furry community discovers what's going on over here on this side of the internet, it's going to get really fucking weird. It's going to get very, very weird because those people are already into fucking animals. So like it's cute and fun over there to fuck animals. It's like a hobby. They make games out of it and have little conventions for it. So when aliens land, it's game over. It's game over. It's going to be a strange place. It's going to be a strange place, that's for sure. There are already people sexualizing Pokemon in the furry community. Okay? So the internet's a crazy place. I don't know why you'd want to land here. Wouldn't be surprised if the aliens did a little drive-by. You know, beamed in, had a little look, saw that people were fantasizing about Vaporeon and that there were men walking around on all fours with a tail and doing little like rollovers, acting like a dog in a dog show. And they would have been like, keep driving, fuck that, keep going. That place is fucked. They are going downhill at a rate that not even we with our 0 point energy can stop. It's over. It's basically over. You know how we talked about like the timelines are already done? It's just playing out. Yeah, ours is over. It's just playing out. Wait till Josh hears about Typhlosion. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I've seen enough. I've seen enough, friends. Keep your Pokemon fantasies to yourself. I'm half Nordic, half reptile. Sounds like a nice mix, Jen. Hopefully a little bit more on the Nordic side. Personally, that's a bit more my flavor. But sure, it's a nice mix, a bit exotic. What else you got in there? Maybe like a hint of Spanish as well, just to really spice it up a little bit. Roy G. Biv says, are we a sex cult now? No, we are not. We are not Raelians 2.0. By the way, speaking of the night shift and Clint, I was watching their stream the other day and they were talking, they started talking about the Raelians, right? And what was interesting, you know, people who have been watching this show for a long time would know that I did a live stream when I discovered Raelianism last year, which if you don't know, it's basically a group that believes in extraterrestrials. The guy who runs its name is Rael, and basically he fucks everyone in the cult, okay? He does that because that's what the aliens told him he has to do. And I'm not even really joking. That's what it is. Interestingly as well, their logo is a Star of David with a swastika in the middle of it. Make of that what you will. But basically, Rael rails all of his followers. Okay, this is Raelianism. And when I did that show, literally within I reckon half an hour of the show finishing, I had an email from the Raelians saying like, hey, we'd love to tell you more about this just so you can understand it more. We'd love to, you know, get this person on your show so you can tell your audience about Raelianism and what it actually is. And obviously I was like, oh, what the fuck? The Raelians are watching my show. So that was like really weird that I was like, I'd never heard of them before. And I was like, man, we got to talk about this alien sex cult. And then they were like, yep, we're watching. So I was like, that's weird. And then anyway, on night shift the other night, the Raelians got brought up. They're probably going to fucking email me after this stream. Clint or someone brought up the Raelians, and he was like, "Yeah, they emailed me." And then I think Chris Ramsey or someone else on the show, like, you know, they've got a whole panel of like content creators in this space. Then like a whole bunch of them were like, "They emailed me too," and I'm sitting here going, "They emailed me too." Who are these people? They're just monitoring the situation of all UFO content creators and just firing off emails, trying to get themselves out, trying to recruit more people for Rael to Rael. God damn it, Rael, keep your hands off my community. We are good, honest people here. This is not a cult. This is not a cult, people. I've said it from the beginning. Regina says, dating app question, number 1, are you a reptilian? That's a great screening question. That would definitely be like, you know, like if you go on dating apps now, it says, you know, like Christian, liberal, or whatever other gay label they want to put on you. That mine would be like, yeah, hybrid, Nordic, reptilian. You know, these are the things that are important. Also, like a percentage gauge on how calcified your pineal gland is. So, and that would be like a sign up test. So basically, if you and we'd have to screen this with like some questions that kind of ask around, and then based on how you answer those questions, we rate how calcified your pineal gland is. And if your pineal gland classifies as essentially being a stone, you get denied access to the app. I think this is the best way to make it work. The user Max says, I'm new to your channel. Absolutely love it. Still going through videos to catch up. Plenty more to watch, but I definitely appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you very much, user Mac. It's awesome to know that we are meeting some new people, because I will say, like, live streaming is not really how you grow a channel. It's how you foster and strengthen a community that you already have, but it doesn't really doesn't grow you very quickly. It's not good for discoverability. So it's amazing to hear that there's still new people coming in here and checking it out. And when I do get back to Australia and I get to build my little creative man cave once again, I'm definitely looking forward to leaning back into the video side of things a little bit more. But I do think that like live streaming, it's like my thing. It feels natural to me. I've always loved doing it, and I'm looking forward to expanding out more with Twitch now as well. So I do see myself probably streaming more, but I do want to bring back like that, either, you know, like that 20-minute video on interesting things here and there, or like that little deep dive that I think is worth cataloging, that I think deserves like a place in the catalog. But this is where I feel at home. Absolutely yapping my jaw off with you guys. What a time to be alive, huh? Pineal impaired need not apply. I love it. That can be like the tagline underneath the logo. What do we call it? What do we call it? Your intellectual view is refreshing. Well, I appreciate that, user Mac. Some call it intellectual, other call it schizophrenic, and both might be correct. No, I actually don't think I'm schizophrenic. I'm pretty sure that I'm not anyway. But I say that because I do wonder about schizophrenia. Like what is it? And I do think there is people who probably do get diagnosed with schizophrenia who are like, they do need help and there's something wrong. They're having delusions of paranoia and whatnot. But I also think there's probably like a gray area in there and a small selection of people who are maybe just like a little more tapped in than the rest of us. And they're maybe seeing a little bit beyond the veil. They're just a little bit more dialed in than the rest of us. But again, when we go back to that bell curve, there's going to be people who like Copernicus, right? Again, the ones who think outside the box, the ones that are heretical, they're at the front of this bell curve where the majority of the population, the way that they think, the way that they see, because the majority haven't caught up yet, they're just seen as crazy and they're a disruption to society. Therefore, it's far easier to say that they're crazy and lock them up. I'm not saying that's the case for everyone, by the way, but I do think that there is likely a percentage that is the case. And that's sad to think about. Dubstepticon, love the name. Very relevant to the show today. Thank you very much for the $2. And oh god, I'm still learning how Twitch works. Shout out to TJ Girl in OC. She's redeemed a highlighted message with 100 something. I'm still learning Twitch, guys. Bear with me. But thank you very much, TJ. Lovely to have you here. She says, actually, live stream actually does grow a channel. I mean, maybe on Twitch, it probably does. Yeah, I mean, it does on YouTube, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't do it anywhere near the fashion that a good, punchy 20-minute video can. And I think that comes down to the fact that a new person who's never seen your content before, right? Polarity Josh has just popped up on someone's feed, never heard of the guy. There's a 2-hour, 20-minute video. Am I going to roll the dice to invest this much time in someone I know nothing about? Versus Polarity Josh has a little 20-minute video. Thumbnail looks interesting. Title sounds cool. I'll check it out. And then they get here. They have an amazing time, obviously. They learned so much. And they think, oh, that was a cool video. I want to watch another one. I'm going to subscribe. Versus, hour and a half, I'm yapping for the first 10 minutes. People don't have that attention span because TikTok has fried the brain and the attention span. And it's not as interesting. So trust me, I see the analytics. The videos are the way to go, short and punchy, or a good 40-minute deep dive it can be effective. Harder to pull off. The longer a video is, obviously, the harder it is to retain attention, and that's what YouTube looks at. If someone watches your video and clicks off after 1 or 2%, YouTube's like, well, this video sucks. We're not going to push it to anyone. So this is how it works. So it's harder to do that on a live stream. Gematria with 9 months says 9 months of watching Josh giggle to himself while reading the chat. Thank you for building this community. Thank you for the 9 months. That's a big one. And you guys do get me giggling. Absolutely, you do. You get me thinking things that I know you guys are thinking, and you know that I'm thinking it, but I won't say it. And I know that we have that connection because I can see what you're saying in the chat, and I know you guys know what I'm thinking. But there are some things that I'm like, maybe we won't say that. Maybe we'll dance around it. Maybe we'll hint and jab some little jokes at it. And for the people who get it, they get it. But the people who don't, they're just like, what is Josh saying? What is this strange man giggling at? Dubstepticon says, hey, bro, you love that we're staying on top of this. Thank you very much. Build on Sound says, bit off topic maybe. What do you think about Neil deGrasse Tyson, his latest grift book about aliens? 100% he smells the money now after the DOW files. That's a great comment, bro. And I feel like that's probably a good topic to do on Weird Week this week, which will be Sunday for the Aussies, Saturday night for the Americans. I think it's actually a little bit annoying, actually. I saw that and I'm just like, you motherfucker, Neil deGrasse Tyson. This guy who was really I think about 10 years ago, Neil deGrasse Tyson was really like the, I feel like he was the face of fun science. He made science fun. He made science digestible, and he made it interesting to the common man. He had this nice buttery voice, and he had these good little sound bites that made it fun to think beyond and explore space and all this kind of stuff. So when the conversation around aliens heated up, and then that guy was basically trash talking it and ridiculing it and making anyone who looked into it seem silly, that was actually kind of annoying. I was just like, fuck this guy. He's not open-minded. And that's what science is meant to be, right? Again, going back to scientism, it's science is about being open to the possibilities. Being rigid and stuck in a specific train of thought is the opposite of science. It's gatekeeping. Humanity evolves and expands due to expanded thought and willing to think outside the box and the narrative. You might not always be right, but it takes that kind of thinking to grow and to progress. So when the guy who was the face of that everyone loved, all of a sudden backflipped on that approach, it was kind of fuck this guy. He's not who we thought he was. And look who comes crawling back, huh? The minute the Department of War drops the latest Atari footage, old mate's got a book on UFOs now. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here with your UFO book. Don't buy that shit. I mean, I kind of want to buy it just to see what he's got to say. What do you got to say now, Neil? What do you got to say about it now, Neil? The same shit everyone was saying 10 years ago that you said was like ridiculous and a joke. Is that what you're saying? Is that what your book's about? Nah, I'll pass. Thanks for coming, Neil. Zeitgeist says, in truth, I came and stayed because of this unique format. Thank you. I like that. Yeah, I'm happy about that. I do try to do it differently. And it wasn't really my intention to be like, oh, no one's streaming in the UFO niche, I'm going to do that. It was literally like, I like UFOs and I'm also a video game nerd who comes from Twitch. So like, I like streaming, so I'm just going to do that for UFOs. And then it was like, oh, wow, people over here like that as well. And here we are. Very, very blessed. How much is his book? I'm not sure. I haven't looked that far. I love your New York accent. Thank you. I do like a good accent. I've been practicing my Alberta accent. I'm not ready to show you guys yet. I need a bit of help from Rambro to refine it. But that's one I really want to get down because I think that's a classic. That's a classic. And when I'm in the States as well, I want to try and give you guys because not every state, maybe it's a little bit more regional. But like, I think England is a much better example of this, right? You know, different towns, different areas have really distinct accents. I think that is the case in America to a degree. Maybe it's not state, but it's definitely like regional, right? Like California people sound very different to New York. Extreme example. When I'm live streaming from those places, I will give you guys my impression of each area that I'm in. I promise. I'm actually looking forward to it. Because I'm going to be soaking it up while I'm there. I'm going to be taking it all in, taking all of their accents in, and I'm going to give you my best shot. I think I can do a good job of it too. I feel like the American accent's kind of easy. Maybe it's because we like growing up with Hollywood, you know, we know it so well, right? We know it so well. There are some accents that are a little bit tougher, like the Alberta accent. It's different. It's like a weird hybrid of a few different things. It's great though. Scottish accent is the best. Yeah, Scottish is good. I do like that. That's a good one. I think I can do that okay. Irish is a bit tougher. There's like a couple of different Irish ones. There's like Conor McGregor Irish, and then there's like Northern Irish, which is like quite different. Do a Texan accent. I will when I'm there. I think like some of them I have to be there. You know what I mean? Because like LG said Alabama drawl. I think I know roughly what people in that part of the country sound like. They got that southern twang. But is like Louisiana different to Alabama? I don't know. But when I'm there, I'll tell you exactly how they sound. I'll tell you exactly what they sound like. Brandon with 10 months says, Josh, why is your accent so drastically different from Lifting the Lamp? He barely sounds Australian. I don't know. It's a good question. I mean, a lot of people say I don't sound Australian. So again, there's probably different. There's levels to this game, right? If you're on the East Coast, and I think the higher up the East Coast you go, the more you start fucking sounding like that. And I don't talk like that, and I don't want to, and I don't try to. But that's kind of how they talk up there. It's disgusting. It's not me. I've lived up in around that part of the world of Australia, but I've also lived in the South, and those accents are quite different. And I do think that my accent kind of meets somewhere in the middle. Lifting the Lamp is from Western Australia, which is the complete other coast, as you'd imagine, from the East. Doesn't change anywhere. And he does sound Aussie, but he just doesn't have like that it's called ochre in Australia, like that fucking accent that you have to say fuck when you do it because it's almost like part of the vernacular when you speak like that. That I think that is what people like traditionally think Australians sound like, and a lot of them do. Don't get me wrong, a lot of them do, but it's not the case everywhere. just like every American doesn't sound like a California girl or a you know, Boston Italian American New Yorker, you know what I mean? They're very like not cliche, but like they're very famous, but it's not like there is a lot more to the country and a lot more accents as well. All right, guys, we have pretty much ran for time tonight. We've been live for 2 hours. Shout out to everyone who's been watching on Twitch. I don't think I am officially yet, but I spoke to Twitch Australia today. This Twitch channel is going to be Twitch partnered very soon. They've been very gracious to me to help bring me over to Twitch. So there's going to be a lot more happening on Twitch. Polarity, the live shows will be happening on Twitch, but I'll also be expanding. I probably won't be doing much gaming while I'm traveling because of my setup, but I will be expanding into gaming when I get home. But while I'm in America, there's going to be some IRL shows, maybe a bit more just chatting on there as well. So please come and follow me, subscribe on Twitch as well. If you subscribe on Twitch, it's ad-free viewing. And to those of you guys on YouTube, thank you for continuing to hang out and support me. Lots of love tonight. How good as well that Polarity is going to be live with Chris Ramsey, Area 52. It's Probably Nothing in Tucson, in LA, and in San Francisco. 3 nights, people. How freaking cool. I can't wait for that. I think the time in America is going to be absolutely incredible. I can't wait to be there and meet all of you guys. Just before we go, Dubstep says, it'd be cool if you and Christina Gomez did a show together. Plus, she's gorgeous. Also, I'm from Tennessee. I got your drawl. I love it. I love it. Christina Gomez, isn't that like Justin Bieber's girlfriend or something? Look, there's probably not, but that's who I thought it was. And that just shows you how out of touch I am with Baal and Hollywood and that part of the world. I don't know who Christina Gomez is. She's obviously some famous person. Probably far out of my scope, unfortunately. But I appreciate the fact that you think I'm even remotely within that orbit. Thank you guys for hanging out tonight. The Discord is linked below. Come and hang out. It's free. Link your YouTube if you're a member and you can join the member section. I hang out in the voice chat regularly. Lots of other people do. It's a friendly place. Come and join it. Don't be shy. There's lots of love. Thank you, everyone. Be good, be kind, get outside, touch some grass, and I'll see you all on Sunday, Aussie time, Saturday night, American time. Peace.
Eventually, people are going to say, what the hell is going on?
No matter how far you go into the dark, when you flip, you go exactly the same place to the light in our galaxy. Everything. Because everything is in balance. Everything is a polarity.
I think it's just going to get weirder and weirder and weirder, and finally it's going to be so weird that people are going to have to talk about how weird it is.